So the reason I put the headliner in now, because obviously it provides good lighting just with the lights hanging, but obviously it gives it a quick test, and so all the wires are now behind the scenes on the starboard side. But I need to know where this box goes properly on the wall and the height. So I don't know if you can see here, I've left a bit cut out in the headliner. So all the wires can then drop straight into the little electrical box, radio holder thingy. So now let's try and line it all up and then figure out where stuff can go. So we need to mount our switch panel now. It's got to control the lights, nav lights and other stuff. So it's going to go on the side here, on the side of the radio box. So we've got the other headliner in now, got all the other lights on. We've got the augmented reality AR200, the Raymarine thing. Still don't quite know what it does, but apparently it's really cool and it shows you where all the stuff is, but we'll find out later more about what that does, don't we? Right, so we're now in our cupboard, big mess of wiring. I almost forgot to put the dimmer switch in for the lights, so I've now cut that out. That's going to go on there. So we now need to put mount a fuse box. I prefer this sort of fuse panel because it's got a little LEDs in the middle. So if you blow a fuse and it's still drawing current, the little LED comes on to say which fuse is blown, which is good. So that's going in there. Another thing that we need to think about in this cabin is ventilation, because it's dark colour. There's no real airflow, got no opening windows, so all we've got is a big open door here. But what I'm thinking is that when I used to race motorbikes, I used to have like a helmet dryer, which I made. But I used a big sort of big computer style fan. So I think we're going to put that in the console here. So we're going to put it high up in the console, and that'll draw air from inside this cupboard here. So it's not actually in direct sunlight or anything like that, so hopefully it'll get the coolest air possible, and then that'll blow it into the cab, and then it'll come back out the door or the cracks in the door or something, just to get a bit of air moving. I know what you're thinking, it's just going to pull in loads of, like, I was going to say leaves then, but we'll be on the ocean, won't we? Loads of bits of rubbish and stuff. We made a filter, just to stop it like getting stuck against the little blades, because you don't want like. So I was just about to put the grill on, and I thought, I'll peel the little sticker on it that was on it. Just to try and make it look black, but it's sort of revealed it's a bit crappy, isn't it? So I've just cut out a little carbon fibre wrap sticker we're going to stick on there. There you go, we're going to go faster now. Genuine fake carbon fibre. I'll just rig the fan to test it. It's quite fast, I don't remember being this fast. Bit noisy, but it's got to be cool. Right, so I've been basically making a mess. So we've got our little fuse box in. Obviously this will all be very, very tidy, but we can't tidy it until we've run the wires. So now we've got our switch panel in. So we've got our Raymarine, our spotlights, our nav lights, our cupboard lights, and there's also nice little lights inside the electrical cupboard so you can see what you're doing. Our washdown pump, our fan, so that's the fan there that blows. Right, what we need to do now is power up the horn, but what we're going to do, we're going to be powering it through one of these little switches or a remote switch. But if you're going to run a little switch, what you need to do is run a relay, because there's quite a lot of initial draw, especially on the compressor, on the horn. So what we need to do is fit a relay, and then we can run any switch we want, wherever we want, can't we? We need a big sort of comical sort of horn, don't we? But all I've got at the moment is these little rubbish switches, so we'll just put one of these in for now, and then we can update. So the relay's in. I found this old, like, looks like an old start switch or something like that, but we'll just use that as our temporary switch because it's easy to wire up. Alright, let's put a fuse in it and see if it works. Success. So it's always difficult to get the conduit over the wires, he says, but it's quite simple there. It's quite a quick, simple technique. I saw this on Facebook recently. Basically put a spanner over the wires, send it down to the end you want to start. Put the spanner into it, it's a bit awkward at first. There we go, once the spanner's in, you can just sort of push it along and it spreads the conduit. So we need to start fitting the bilge pump wiring at least. We'll leave the pumps for now, but we've got a little switch which opted for this switch because it has a breaker rather than a fuse, which feels quite good because if you're panicking about like keeping your bilge pumps going, the fuse is blowing, you can hit the breaker. Obviously we go to like auto, and then we go to off, and then to manual, so you can manually bilge. But we've got these pumps here. I've never used these before. These are basically automatic ones, and I believe how they work, they give a pulse every 30 seconds and it measures the load on the pump. So if there's a load when it pulses, it knows, there's water there, so then it starts to pump overboard. So you don't need a float switch that's going to get stuck or anything like that, so they do it automatically. But you can also give a manual override to it as well, so you can pump out, so that's quite cool. So what we need to do now is work out the location of the switch. So obviously we're still missing the big steering wheel, but that's coming very soon, trust me. So I'm thinking that the pump switch should be down here out of the way, so we can't knock it or anybody else can start messing with it and stuff, so it'd be sort of tucked out of the way where I know where it is. So cut our holes. That's the bilge pump hole. This is going to be the horn hole. This is our USB charger. So I think what we should do, what I've been trying to do throughout the whole of building this plywood console, is like epoxying all the edges. Just so, because water is going to be out in the elements, isn't it, basically. It is marine plywood, but I want it to last for a long time. So we're going to epoxy all the edges to try and seal it.
Right, so it's time to make this boat watertight, isn't it? We've got loads of holes still in the boat for the sink drain and the back drains and
Drains.
Through holes, and we've got water intakes to fit. So this water intake is going to be for a wash down kit, so when we get fish guts or
stinky fingers
or mud from Bysterinda all over the boat, we can actually clean it. So what are you doing there?
I'm going to bodge. So basically these through holes, you buy a 3/4 one for a 3/4 pipe, and there's like, it's a bit sloppy and you don't get a really nice good tight seal, so I'm using some heat shrink with adhesive on it, so it actually makes it up and it gives you a nice tight fitting on the pipe.
Yes, perfect. So they got little grooves in there. So what we did is we used a washer for me to hold it still while Simon tightened it from the inside.
So both batteries are going to eventually be mounted in here, which is underneath the sink. So if we're going to go, this one's going to be our auxiliary battery for all the rain marine stuff. This one is going to be solely for the start. So I'm going to keep that as close as we can to the engine. It's quite away from the engine. I'd say like it's 1.5 meters away from the engine, but from previous use of this boat, she was quite tail heavy. So we're trying to keep weight as far forward as we can anyway. So yeah, so that's our compromise. It's going to be there. So what we need to do is actually think about the battery isolator and the battery isolator position. So we can't really be going putting the engine battery isolator all the way down there. So then the wire would go from there all the way down there, all the way to the engine. We don't want that. So we want to keep it as short a run as we possibly can. So here's our isolators, which we've got these from Barris. Fantastic people they are. Alright, so I've been on a bit of a debate with Gemma as well about these and where they should go. So initially we were going to put them inside this cupboard. I mean, inside the cupboard, it's great if you can get to the cupboard easy, isn't it? But if you want to turn something off in a hurry, you got to open the door, you're bound to shove something else in the cupboard. So we're gonna. I think I've sold it to Gemma. I think we're gonna go here, which for us it's probably a bit of dead space, but it's probably useful space. So I think we're gonna go one there for the engine, and then one there for the house battery. Which thing looks better? I think it looks better inset like that, where it's actually exactly the same thickness of the ply, or mounted externally. There's only one person to ask for this solution, and it's Gemma. This is Gemma.
Hi, I'm Gemma.
She doesn't do much with electrics.
Apart from going
Apart from connect batteries together with a 15mm spanner.
Go on, show me.
Right, so we put some big holes in there, yeah? So option 1, which means more work, is make them go in there like that.
Okay.
Or option 2, you hold that. Which is like that.
Yeah.
I think like that.
Go on, I'll give you that one.
Tell her whose idea that was in the first place.
It was Simon's idea in the first place. Alright, first time this year, I agree with him.
Yeah. So, looking for, pretend this is inside the cupboard, we've got our 2 isolators. So we're going to have our main engine isolator, which all this is going to do is turn off the engine if there's an issue, everything's off. We can take the key out, we can isolate the engine from the second point, so from the battery. So this one's going to be the house isolator, so that's going to come from the battery to the isolator. And we've also got a split charge, so we want a bit of charge from the engine battery to the leisure battery. Then we've got a series of fuses. So we're going to get it all wired up here on the bench, so we're going to put it on this piece of wood so we can mount the fuses. Going to oversize the piece of wood so we can then like future-proof the boat. If we want to screw some more stuff to it, we can, or I don't know, other charge controllers and maybe a battery charger one day. I don't know. It's a good idea, that, isn't it? Do we need a separate mains-powered battery charger? Don't know. We'll think about that. I thought she was lying down on the job then, but I think she's tightening up a hose. You tightening up someone's hose?
Just doing some plumbing. So I've put the sink waste in.
Ah.
So now I'm just putting it out to the seacock.
Okay.
I've put the tap in and I've plumbed the pipe into the tap that goes all the way around there, and comes to here.
It's doing a plumbing good job. Batteries are now secure. Got our split charge, we've got another fuse output there. You can see the back of the isolators. So we've actually got a slight problem. Me and Jem have got a bit of an addiction, which is cups of tea. So when we're out on the ocean, we need to like feed our addiction, don't we? And what Gemma said is, we do not want gas on the boat. We don't want gas, no vents is there, can cause big problems, can't it? So Jim's come up with a solution. So the solution is an all-powers portable power station. So a portable power station is basically like a big lithium battery with an inverter in it, so you can use basically mains power anywhere you are in the world at any given time. So I'm interested to see whether it will fit between the batteries.
It's only a small space because it's a small boat.
Okay, that was quite cute, isn't it? So we've got our normal 13 amp 3-pin plugs. 100%. Just got AC, DC. What does that one do?
And I think that's Wi-Fi, so it's just Bluetooth to connect it to your phone.
So you can control your phone. You can control your kettle via your phone. That's good, isn't it? For all the way out there. Emergency lights.
There you go. Emergency lights.
There you go. Sweet. Oh, USBs. Husbands. Oh, there's our inputs there. And we've got a 12-volt socket as well. Anyway, back to, does it actually fit? It does.
Perfect.
Perfect, and you can actually get to your controls. The plugs on this, yeah, the plugs, yeah, you can plug it in straight there.
So, we can charge this, because we're limited on space for solar up the top, we can charge this by DC with the engine.
Yeah.
So when we're on the move, we can be charging the power bank, and then it should last us all day to then make a brew.
And if not, we have to run the engine more, don't we?
What engine?
Ooh, oh, well, paddle, I don't know, something like that.
So I think if we fit that down there, we're going to need a cigarette lighter.
More wiring, okay.
To be able to then plug it in off charge, so it charges as we're moving, and then it's stored away with a strap on.
Giggity.
So when we're smashing through the waves, it's not bouncing everywhere.
So I've got permission to smash through the waves?
Ish.
As long as you don't spill your tea.
Right then, couple more sockets to fit and tie it down.
Oh.
I need to put labels on these so I know which is which. There's
only one that switched the wash down and the lights. Because that does the lights. Look at the little...
Ooh,
well, I've got another switch I need to put in as well. I've done something which we always think a bit randomly, don't we? And I'm best showing you.
So what we've actually done is fitted some UV lights to the bottom cubby of the console, because when you're fishing, apparently you use like glow in the dark things, so to be able to quickly charge our glow in the dark stuff, we can just throw them in here.
Can I let go of these wires now? But I'm having to hold them on the fuse box because we haven't actually got a switch. We ran out of switches. So yeah, the UV lights, I did some research on them basically. In sunlight, it takes about 2 hours to charge, and then in under ultraviolet, these sort of lights, they take like 3 hours to charge, but under ultraviolet lights, it's like 10 minutes or something like that. So I thought, this could be like a very marginal gain for us, because we haven't got a clue about fishing, so.
But it also looks pretty.
And it looks cool, doesn't it? We have a disco.
Right, we've got some bad news.
Oh, again?
Yeah, we are about to make it really hard for ourselves to get in and out the boat.
Well, we've got this perfect sort of area here, look, we can get in and out.
I know we have, but in a minute, there's going to be a new engine in there.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
This is the day.
Seriously waiting for this.
We've been so excited. We've got some really, really big news with this engine. We'll keep that till the end of the video.
Big news.
Big news.
How big? This big?
Massive.
Massive.
Massive news. So you've got to wait till the end to find out what the massive news is.
So you've heard of electric outboards, petrol outboards, diesel outboards, inboards, whatever's. What people have never fitted before on something like this is a steam engine.
And it's not going to be fitted either.
Only joking, but how cool's that? I bought it the other day from it was like a sort of clearance. But yeah. Not that engine yet.
It's quite scary when someone's drilling a hole in your transom that you spent like weeks repairing. So what Kyle's doing there is putting a data tag on the engine, so if it ever gets stolen, it's a UV light, isn't it? You can...
Yeah, there's a few ways. There's a little chip that the police can scan for that gets hidden on your outboard, and then these have little micro serial numbers in, which you can't see by eye, but under a microscope you'll be able to see them.
Right, so Paul has now got the engine on beautifully. It's all perfectly lined up. We've checked the oil, all that. Well, what we need to check now, which is beyond me, we've got to plug it in. We've got to plug it into a computer.
I think while Paul's fitting the engine, we should get his van with some stickers. Do you think he'll notice?
How long do you think it'll take before he notices? Right, so what we're doing now is Paul has plugged his computer in and it came up with
no faults.
No faults.
All clear, all good to go.
All good to go. So everything's tickety-boo, so we're going to use my fandangled bucket here to test run it.
Our swimming pool?
Fantastic, it's maiden voyage.
So this is the first start time. So usually I can use a bit of easy start and then connect all the jump leads up and stuff like that. Genuinely, this is the first start, so let's see what
We don't need no easy start on this though, love.
No.
I don't think there'd be any need for.
Right, so considering this has come all the way from Japan, being attached to the back of our 1978 boat, and we've just turned the key and it just fired up. And listen to it. Wow.
Quiet, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you hear me now, I guess? I'm sure you can. Right, so thank you, Paul.
No problem at all.
It's absolutely awesome.
Okay.
I'm just amazed how quiet and off the button it is.
Well, that's why Suzuki are probably the market leader really in outboards, especially around the 60.
Okay.
Is a class leading outboard. The other thing I'd say about obviously Suzuki's from 40 upwards, you get a flexible rigging kit. So what that means is that you can fix one of these outboards to more or less any boat. Here we've got a standard side mounted control box, but you could have like a top mounted or a flush mounted control. So that will kind of lend itself to any where you're going to fit to a rib, to a boat like this, to river cruisers. So they're very versatile.
But what we've got, I think it's absolutely awesome. I'm amazed how easy it goes into gear. Do you like it?
Well, compared to your old outboard, that
yes,
it was pretty.
The
old American branded outboard,
Is
which it is obviously very old, obsolete.
Yes.
Very inefficient on fuel. Whereas
I'm very, is this going to get me home? Which many times it didn't do it. But I've got every faith in this. So.
Yeah. So we're probably with your old outboard, you'd probably be carrying about 6 to 7 cans of fuel with you to get you kind of anywhere really. But these are so much more fuel efficient these days that you're only going to need probably a third of the amount of fuel as what you used to use in your old outboard. And
as well, when I was doing the research on all the engine manufacturers, I'm really concerned about the weights.
I think these are the licensed in the class for a 60 horsepower. So
yes.
The power to weight ratio on this is far out, knock spots off its competitors.
Yes, it's perfect for the boat basically.
Yeah.
And as well reliability and fuel economy. I was doing my research on the fuel economy throughout all the major brands as well, and the Suzuki came up top through that as well. So.
Yeah. One of the other selling points really of these is the fact that the maintenance parts for these are relatively inexpensive.
Okay.
So a service kit for this, just this outboard, you're looking at less than £100.
Oh, right,
for service items. If you look at obviously the other brands, you're probably looking at about 2 to 3 times that.
Oh, okay. So that probably encourages you to use the genuine.
Exactly. So there's no
parts.
room for an aftermarket. You might as well keep the product 100% Suzuki.
Right. Okay.
So if you and also not that we've seen many repairs on these. It's usually when people have broken them from bouncing off things like that. Yeah. But the actual components aren't inexpensive too.
Okay. That's good to know as well.
Okay.
What's the warranty?
You get a 5-year leisure warranty on these.
Okay.
Okay, 2-year commercial.
Okay. So we in the leisure warranty.
You're in the leisure
Fisher
warranty.
people.
Fisher people.
Yeah, we're not commercial fisher people.
What about if we catch a massive big one? They might go, hang on a minute.
Set yourself up as a commercial fisherman then, yes.
Well, a tuna, if we catch a tuna.
You'll be lucky in these waters.
You'll be lucky.
You must be out in the Caribbean if you're catching tuna, which wouldn't be a bad place to be.
I couldn't even catch COVID.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better. For me, anyway.
Paul and Kyle at Outboard and Marine in Liverpool have done an absolutely fantastic job. So if you are looking for an outboard or any repairs to the ones that you've got, highly recommend them. Thank you so much, guys.
Right, so the engine is now fitted, isn't it? Check these bad boys out.
And we've got fishing rods, proper fishing rods.
We've got 0 excuses now.
Yes.
What we need to do is learn the boat and then learn to fish.
We now have 28 days until the competition.
Easy.
It is.
It just means fishing for 28 days straight.
But we've also got 20 hours to put on the engine.
Yes.
As like we've got to do all the breaking in procedures and stuff like that. So we want to get the 20 hours done before the fishing competition so it can have its first service.
Yeah.
Okay. And we also said to you guys at the beginning of this episode, we had a big announcement to make.
What's the announcement, Jim?
Should we tell them all?
Go on then.
Don't know how we've managed to blag this one, but we are now the latest additions to the Suzuki Fishing Team.
Yay! We've done fishing before, haven't we?
Did we tell them that we can't fish?
No. Don't tell them that we can't fish.
So we are on a fishing team with some absolutely awesome people. We've got Will from Smart Fishing UK.
Yep.
We've got all the McKells from Squidward.
Yeah.
And there is a good couple of other people as well, and
Yeah.
they're both on the Suzuki Fishing Team.
Yeah.
So
We've definitely got the best boat though, haven't we?
I think we've definitely got
Definitely got the best boat.
the oldest boat,
The oldest boat.
the least experienced fisher people.
Yeah, but with the smallest boat as well.
Oh well.
It's not looking good for us, is it?
It's not looking for good for Suzuki, is it?
Yeah.
Well, don't think we're going to
We'll do
win,
them
guys.
proud. We'll do them proud.
So I think the next job on the boat is making sure it doesn't sink.
It's putting it in the water.
Yeah. So come back next time to see if we sink. Thank you all so much for watching. And thank you all so much to all our awesome sponsors, because without their help, this whole project wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much to Barris, Raptor, Suzuki, Ray Marine, Railblazer, Extreme Trailers, and Penn for sending us some fishing rods. Thank you so much, guys. Your support is really, really appreciated.